Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's training on the time challenge, making every moment in life count. I'm Wendy Spurgeon, creator of the Way of Truth Sacred Journey portal, and your facilitator on this evening's full moon webinar, and I'm very excited to be speaking with you today. And supporting us with slides today is Shelley Chase, writer and life happiness coach. When it comes to time management, there are three essential elements to becoming a good time manager. And in this webinar, we will cover all three of these essential parts. So they are how we organize our time, which includes working on our most important tasks during the time we have peak energy and making good use of our lower energy times. How we prioritize our time by identifying the most important tasks we want to accomplish and working on them first. How we eliminate distractions by avoiding common time distractors that drain us of our energy and keep us from accomplishing what matters the most. But before we jump in, I just want to take a minute to review some of our webinar guidelines so that we can ensure we have a successful training. We always want to be respectful of others on the line. So if you notice you've got some background noise, try to keep that at a minimum. It's really best to be in a place where there is no noise so that we can all focus on the discussion at hand. And please say your name before you speak. We like to know who we are hearing from. And be participative. These trainings are just much more valuable and more fun when everyone gets involved. We're really lucky today to have Holly Jacobson on the line as our primary participant. So let's begin our discovery. So much to do, so little time. This is a common phrase we have uttered at some point in our lives. Now, it may not seem like it, but we really do have a choice in how we spend our time. The fact is, there is enough time to do what's most important to us. But this means we just have to become masters of how we use our time. And that's what we're going to explore during our webinar today. And before we explore how we become masters of our time, let's get to know one another a little better. If you were going to introduce yourself to the rest of the people on the training today, aside from your name, what information might you tell them? And if you only had enough time to mention a few things, what would you choose to share? From this list of information you could share, which 5 of these pieces of information would you select? So let's take a moment to identify and write down your 5 pieces of information. I'm going to do it too. I'm going to set the timer for 30 seconds. Ready? Set, go. And 5 seconds left. Okay. So there's a lot there. And I'll volunteer, and I would love to hear, Holly, what you would choose. 5 things if you only had 5 pieces of information that you would share if you just had a limited amount of time. What caught my eye first, for some reason, age. And my favorite season, where I was born, a dream place I would visit, and then I guess an unusual hobby. So, I think I chose those because those to me seem to be the most, they capture like the core essence of my identity and how, the things that are my values. So, but it was really interesting. It was like 30 seconds. I've got to pick 5 things. And I'm not even sure now. I mean, like, cause it was 30 seconds. I'm like, well, maybe I'd choose something else, but those are just like the first that I caught. So Holly, what did you pick? What are like 5 things that you would share about yourself to introduce yourself?
Okay, well, I'm actually going to share them with you too.
Okay, great.
This one, if you put glasses, if you put round glasses on me and made my hair big, I can pass for Janis Joplin.
That would be the
I,
celebrity you're mistaken for.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my celebrity. My favorite season is summer. I'd tell you where I live, that I live on Bainbridge Island because I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. And I love the sound of music. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that a
Oh,
phone
it's
is
okay. Oh, me too.
going.
That's one of my favorite movies too. Yeah, and I'm thinking about like how easy or difficult was it to choose the 5 pieces of information knowing I only had 30 seconds. I felt a little like, oh, what's the most important? It like really made me zoom in. Um,
Yeah,
and the criteria, yeah, like I said, the criteria I chose because I had a limited amount of time was to try to pick the things that would give the best comprehensive view.
yes.
Um,
And I wanted to say too, I do my shoe size because I think any chance that we have to talk about shoes is time well spent.
awesome. Awesome. So, the fact is, each of us has only been given 24 hours in a day, even though we act as if time is unlimited. And the fact is, none of us has enough time to do everything. And that means we must prioritize our activities. And this is really no different than having to prioritize what you would tell others about yourself. You have to focus on what's most important. Good time management is all about prioritizing what matters most, then pursuing those things and not concerning yourself about with the rest. And as I said at the beginning of the training, effective time management comprises 3 essential parts. First up is organizing your time. Everyone's energy timetable is different. Some of us are morning people, others are night owls. One secret to effective time management is to find those times of high energy or prime energy and make sure you are organizing important tasks around these times. It is during times of prime energy that you will find yourself to be most alert, most enthusiastic, and most creative. So now is a really good time to take out worksheet number 1, My Prime Time. Looks like that. Think of a typical day in your life with which to graph your energy level and place a dot in the box that best represents your energy during each hour. And I recommend that you work quickly and don't think too hard about precisely identifying your energy level during each hour. A general assessment will do. And then when you do that, well, actually, let's go ahead and take some time. After that, we'll sort of draw a line to connect the dots. But let's go ahead and take that time, and I'll do it too. So I'm looking at the morning now. Oh, now I'm moving to the afternoon. Okay. And now draw a line to connect the dots. And examine your energy peaks and valleys represented on the graph. And when you're complete, let's share what came up. And I guess I'll go ahead and start. So it looks like, you know, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm asleep. I start to wake up around 6 and 7, so I've got low energy then, but then it starts to rise from about 7 to 10. Then by 10 o'clock, I'm at very high, and it stays very high until about 3, and then it goes down to high around, 4 and 5, and then by 7, it drops down to medium, and by 9 and 10, it's dropping down to low and very low, and by 11, 12 o'clock, I'm very definitely asleep. And I think, as I'm looking at this, I'm like, this is really useful information, right? So Holly, what does your graph look like?
I almost spring out of bed at 5 in the morning. I wake up usually with the sun somewhere between 4 and 5:30. I'm up with, and I have all my clarity. Everything is in the morning, and that's when I usually work out. I can start at the gym at 8, and after I get done in the gym, I feel good, but my energy starts, and I would put me at very high, and then it's almost just a triangular shot where I just start slowing down until I go to bed between 8 and 10. But like last night, I went to bed at 7:30, and then I'm asleep till 5 in the morning.
Wow. Yeah. It's
I can rise. The one thing though I did know was that in the afternoons, if I got something that's specific that I'm doing, my energy can rise up again, but it'll never go to very high again.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, like, I know sometimes, I might be working on projects in the evening. I might be, directing something or in rehearsal for a show, and so I have to adjust my energy to, to be higher during those times to match, the work, and the time frame that people can work. But it's really good to, when I'm aware of this, because this was outside of my awareness, really. It's like if I'm aware of this, then I can make adjustments to, how much I sleep the night before, or conserving my energy during the day, taking breaks, so that, and making sure that I eat right and that I'm well hydrated to help me stay at higher energy levels at a different time that's not kind of my natural rhythm. It's really interesting to look at this. Um, you know, and like, how effectively do you think people manage their prime energy time so they spend it on tasks that are most important? I mean, just doing this exercise reveals to me that it's not always it just in our general awareness. We're not really like tuned into it. So doing an exercise like this can really help you be very intentional about how you're spending your energy. And what gets in the way of us using prime energy time for our most important tasks? That's an interesting question. I think when you're being entrepreneurial, like I'm working for myself, the challenge can be being a little too available for other people's projects. that can get in the way of managing my prime energy time on tasks that are most important to me. Is like putting that stake in the ground. Yeah, is there anything that you see, Holly? What gets in the way of us using our prime energy time on our most important tasks?
I can waste my energy doing trivial things.
Yeah.
Just like, even going on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Just when I know, because for me, for sure, my morning time is, I can maintain, like if I'm working on the house, I can maintain more of a medium high level for a long period of time, like if I'm painting or something like that. But for where that, I think maybe some of that energy too comes from I'm so much enjoying what it is that I'm doing.
Yeah.
But if my energy that's automatically there in the morning, if I'm not going to do the things that maybe I don't want to do, it can make it more difficult for me to do the things that I don't want to do in a time period where I really don't have authentic energy. I'm not inspired by what I'm doing.
Right. Those are really good insights. Thank you. So, yeah, let's go ahead and move to the next slide, Shelley. Thank you. So here are some helpful tips for maximizing your high energy times. Plan ahead to use your prime energy times for those important tasks that require greater effort and attention. Save routine work for your low energy times. Oh, my low energy times, that's a good time to like do the dishes or things, or, or sweep, or just, tidy up or dust. Let's see. Strive to keep interruptions to a minimum or eliminate them completely during your prime energy times. It's important that you develop effective strategies for organizing your time and your energy. The good news is that you can take advantage of some simple time management to help you do this. Let's look at what these time management steps are. And now is a good time to take out worksheet number 2. The 4 steps to being an effective time manager. And let's take notes on our worksheet of what key points you feel the most strongly about. And I'm going to give a little short lecture. When I'm done with the short lecture, let's share what stood out most for us in our notes. I'll share, and I would love to hear what your thoughts are, Holly. The 4 steps to being an effective time manager. To be an effective time manager, try following these steps to make the most of your limited time and energy. Number 1, identify goals. Goals enable us to identify important tasks, projects, and desired outcomes. They help us stay motivated and on track. When we don't have goals, or at least a daily to-do list, our days are at risk at veering off course with any distraction that comes along. Number 2, set priorities. The objective of time management is to allocate time more wisely. This step involves identifying priority tasks we must accomplish if we want to reach our goals. And knowing priorities will do 2 things. It gives us something to focus on so we can develop a plan of action in advance. And it helps us set up a schedule that effectively utilizes our prime energy times. Number 3, make a plan. For effective time management, it is critical that we make wise choices when setting priorities. One of the best ways to waste time is to have no plan or priorities. We are usually far less productive without a plan and spend time working on things that do not move us toward our goals. And 4, monitor your activity. It's critical to be aware of anything that's preventing us from accomplishing our plan, our priority tasks, and ultimately our important goals. By monitoring our activities, we can be sure that distractions and interruptions aren't derailing us. And if they are derailing us, we can do something to minimize or eliminate them and get back on track. So now just let's take a few moments to solidify our notes. And then let's kind of share our highlights, Polly. So I'm going to take a few notes too. Well, yeah. So this is a great worksheet. You know, I hadn't actually realized it. I'm just sort of like acknowledging it right now that, you know, I've had a practice of setting goals. It's kind of part of my work as a life coach to practice what I teach, right? I can't ask clients to set goals if I'm not setting goals, right? I can't ask a client to prioritize what's most important to them if I'm not prioritizing what's most important to me. So this, you know, these 4 steps are, they, on the one hand, they're simple. They're not always easy. But really it does. I mean, when you follow these 4 steps, I'm realizing it really, like, you set your priority, you set your priorities, and then you know what it is that you need to accomplish. And in my work in theater, in event production, where you have to organize people and you have to, you know, present a polished program or play or dance or whatever it is on a specific date at a specific time. I had a teacher who taught me how to, and this is like a really interesting trick. It's like, if you know when the project has to be done by, right? It's Friday at 5 o'clock on, you know, July 20th, say, right? You schedule backwards from that finished product, right? So like the day before, you would be doing your final rehearsals or whatever it is, and that, you know, working backwards from that goal date really helps put your priorities in order. And and you create a plan around it, and you monitor your activity. Like, you know, you got to, like, once you create the plan, then you have to show up in it, and actually, like, you know, be on top of your work during that time that you planned, and so that you can hit that milestone and move on to the next. So I would love to, and let me get back to my spot here. I would love to hear what stood out for you around this exercise, Holly. Anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think without the starting point, like identifying your goals, like what is it you want to accomplish to begin with, all this stuff can save so much time and money. I was thinking about money.
Yeah.
So, especially we have some work that we've been doing on a rental property, and when you don't set everything in motion to go in one direction, you can just waste so much time and money. It's amazing. And then setting the priorities is really good too, because sometimes if I sit down to write out what my goal is, some of it might really not be so important, and to see what I can maybe remove that doesn't need to be there. And then I put stars by things that I think are super important, and making a plan can save you more time and money than anything. It's like people know this with cleaning a house. If you're in cleaning your bedroom and you keep walking one thing back to the bathroom and one to the kitchen, it can just take you so long to do it all. So I'm making a plan about how. I actually have a plan as to how to clean the house. I bought a book that tells you the most efficient way to clean a house. And then going back and monitoring it's like if these are lists or whatever, to go back and monitor to actually see how you're doing. And then all good businesses, or businesses that are really flourishing, do all this.
Yeah.
Where they're at. So
they really do.
Makes sense.
I have a really good friend that, and you know, like I learn from other people, like in their priorities, right? Like if I'm going into town and I have several errands I need to run, I have a friend who models like really thinking through the route that you're going to take, so that, you know, you can hit Walmart and then go or go to Ace and then go to Walmart and then go to the bank and then go to CVS and then wrap around and go to that meeting, and then you can take that loop back, right? And it's like making the plan and thinking ahead can really save you time. It can save you money. It can save you money and gas if you're being like thoughtful about your route in your plan and what you're doing. So taking the time to do that is really valuable. Yes, it can save you money. And once you have organized your tasks and aligned it with your peak energy times, you can now look at the second essential part of time management, which is how you prioritize your time. So prioritizing can be challenging, especially when we think we think everything we have to do is important. But is everything really important? Managing time effectively entails identifying goals, breaking those goals into tasks, and then prioritizing those tasks. And this requires us to first create a thorough to-do list of our tasks so that we can then prioritize them. And when we prioritize, we are making sure we accomplish the most important tasks first. So now let's pull out worksheet number 3, which is master to-do list. And note that this worksheet number 3 is 2 pages in length. There is a part 2 to it. I'm going to guide you through several steps to creating a master to-do list that you will prioritize. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Let me pull up my timer. 2 minutes to write down the tasks, both mundane and critical, that you need to accomplish over the next 24 hours. And you can use your daily planner if needed. I'm sure I'm going to be looking at my calendar and my phone. Don't rank the items at this point. Do include routine tasks. So I'm going to set, we're going to go for 2 minutes, and I'll let you know when we're at 30 seconds out. Ready, set, go. Okay, we got 30 seconds left. Okay, and next, I want you to identify those tasks that could be removed from your lists because they could be delegated to someone else. So take a minute to review your list and mark off these tasks. And there's no need to identify who the task could be delegated to. It's just enough to know that the task can be delegated. So let's go for set 1 minute. Here we go. And we have 15 seconds left. All right. Great. So now categorize the remaining tasks that you can't delegate. Categorize the remaining tasks according to each task's importance and urgency. Okay. So urgent tasks cause us to react. We stop what we're doing and address these tasks instead. These can be important tasks like a medical emergency, or they can be unimportant tasks like an email from a client needing something now. Important tasks lead us toward our overall life goals, which typically require planning, organization, and initiative. These can be urgent tasks like filing our taxes on time, and non-urgent tasks like goal setting for the future. So now let's rank our tasks by the ABC prioritization scale. A is urgent, important, and urgent. This is the crisis zone, which represents tasks that are important and also need to be done immediately. Examples of important and urgent are term paper deadlines, your taxes are due, your car breaks down, there's a medical emergency, the school principal calls, or unexpected work project due today. Urgent and important. Now B is important but not urgent. This is the goals and planning zone, which represent tasks that are important but do not need to be done right away. Examples of important but not urgent are weekly planning, long-term planning, exercising, family time, hobbies, studying, meditating. C is urgent but not important. This is the interruption zone, which represents tasks that have an urgency to them but are not important. Examples of urgent but not important are phone calls, text messages, some emails, your coworker asks for a favor, your mom drops in unannounced and needs help. And then there is not urgent and not important. This is the distraction zone, which represents tasks that are neither urgent nor important. Examples of not urgent and not important are watching TV, mindlessly surfing the web, playing video games, scrolling through social media, gambling, and shopping sprees. So now we'll use the ABC prioritization system to prioritize our tasks. So next to each task that you would consider both important and urgent, you'll place an A. Assign a B next to those tasks that you would say are important but not urgent. And then place a C next to those tasks that you would deem urgent but not important. And assign no designation to those tasks you see as neither important nor urgent. So we'll take 2 minutes to complete this prioritization. Ready, set, go. And we've got 30 seconds left on the clock. Great. Okay, so now let's count up. How many tasks did you assign an A to? I have 3. How about you, Holly? How many got an A?
I had 4 that had A's.
And how about B's? I've got 2 B's.
I have 6 B's.
And C's. I've got 3 C's. How about you?
I have 1 C.
And what kind of tasks did you decide were neither important nor urgent?
Well, I started laughing because the list was so funny. Gambling was in there. I thought that they should put getting drunk.
Yeah. Neither important nor urgent.
I mean, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that's like pretty funny. I didn't actually put anything on the list that was
I didn't have any either. It didn't even occur to me to write some of them.
Well, I mean, especially when they said gambling, I thought, what are they talking about? I don't know. Did you plan on going gambling and going on a shopping spree tomorrow?
Oh, some people do though. Some people really enjoy that activity.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
And that's just their impression that that's not urgent or important, when if it's about shoes, I already told you that would have been an A.
It would have been an A. Yeah. It's a matter of perspective, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Each one of us is going to, we have our values towards all of this stuff. And there's no wrong. I love it. So, oh gosh, to what extent do non-designated tasks populate your to-do list? What's the implication of this? I don't. I actually, on my list, I don't really have any, which is actually, I think, is a good sign. But I love your point, Holly, that other people watching this, they might have, some things on that list that are non-designated. And so the implication of that might be to just open up their awareness and be clear inside themselves, around the priorities. And if they're like really wanting to manage their time more effectively, be less stressed about time and the stress around timekeeping, that that might then choose to let go of some of those non-designated activities with this new awareness, right? That I think that's like the biggest implication if we find those non-designated activities on our list. And with our master to-do list complete and tasks categorized along the lines of importance and urgency, we can now further determine which tasks are most important. And by ranking task importance within a category, we can make sure our limited time is being dedicated to what matters most. Very cool. So now let's pull out worksheet number 4, time management grid. And the time management grids are a powerful way to think about how to prioritize our tasks. There's a constant pull on our time between tasks that are important and tasks that are urgent. And the problem with important tasks is that they often do not have to be done right away, whereas urgent tasks call for immediate action. And as a result, we can seem to be busy, but still feel like we aren't achieving anything of real significance. With a time management grid, we can look at your tasks from the criteria of both importance and urgency and how best to prioritize them. So now take items that you have prioritized from your master to-do list in the last activity, on the last worksheet, and place them onto the time management grid in the appropriate categories. So that, and you can see it right there on your worksheet. So the top left corner is important and urgent. So this is the crisis zone, which represents tasks that are important and also need to be done immediately. So those things that we recognized as A, we're going to be writing in that top left box. The bottom left box is important but not urgent. And this is the goals in the planning zone, which represents tasks that are important but do not need to be done right away. The top right box is urgent but not important. This is the interruption zone, which represents tasks that have urgency to them but are not important. And then the bottom right is not urgent and not important. This is the distraction zone, which represents tasks which are neither urgent nor important. So let's take 2 minutes. We might not even need to take that long, but we can take it and we'll fill out this grid, this time management grid. Ready, set, go. And about 15 seconds left. Okay, great. Okay, so Holly, did anything come up for you? Any new insights come up for you as you plotted on your grid here? I'll share too, but I'm just, I thought I would check in with you first. How was this grid helpful?
Well, because when we did the other list, even with the A's and B's and C's next to it, you don't see it under, this lined it up better.
Right. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought so too. It's like, and you know, this grid along with the graph of my peak energy times, I can actually like plan my work day. So this is like, I'm finding this, you know, personally very useful. I mean, for anyone who is being their own boss, is setting their own schedule, to be able to put things out in a grid where you can very like clearly, plainly see it. And then, you know, so now I can, like, so my my important and urgent, well, I've got my client call with you in the morning, right? So that is important and urgent to me. That is in my A category, right? And it is scheduled for 8 o'clock my time, right? So it is already like, it's set, right? And then, making sure that this webinar replay gets out on the autoresponder in time for those who weren't able to join us, so that it gets into their, that is urgent and important in that one. And posting, I have a recording of a class that I led yesterday that I need to get posted up in the Bitrix where that group meets. So things like that. And then, going from B to C, I'm just finding really useful. It's like after I get the A done in the early upswing of my peak energy time, then I am going to have time for the B and the C. But like I'm finding this very helpful personally. It just sets it out very clearly. And I think, it's important to rank the tasks that have been placed in the same category because, those are aligned with, that immediacy and getting those, because the goals and the planning is very important. And once you get kind of the urgent and important out of the way, then you can really give yourself that spaciousness and the time that you need to do like the goals and the planning. So for me, that's there's a couple of video lessons that I want to put together for this week, but it's not urgent, but also but it is important because it's part of those goals and the planning. So the time management grid can help you more effectively schedule the tasks that you need to complete and thus use your time more wisely. And completing your most important A tasks will contribute to a feeling of accomplishment. So remember to plan to do your A tasks during your peak energy times during the day. And while you may only want to concentrate on the A tasks, these often take a lot of time and effort. So consider spending your time on a mixture of tasks, such as 3 A's, 2 B's, and 1 C in a prioritized schedule. I like that. I like that idea a lot. And insofar as this training, we've explored the need to organize our tasks around our times of peak energy, which is the first essential part in effective time management. And then we dove into the need to prioritize our time around those tasks that are most important. And next, in the final segment of our course tonight, we'll look at the third essential part of time management, which is to eliminate distractions. But before we do, I do have a very, very special offer I want to share with you. Are you ready to embark on the best year of your life? This is really, really fun for me to share with you. I generally offer this program at the beginning of the year. It's timely around New Year's, but I also try to offer it about halfway through the year because it's just that powerful. And sometimes we find ourselves in a lull in the beginning in the middle of the year. So it's kind of a time to whoop, pep up and get back on track. Okay, so imagine arriving at a place a year from now, feeling accomplished, inspired, and in awe of who you've become in just 52 weeks. Think about what it would mean to you to be able to create the best year of your life. Would you really need to have it all together? Your dream job, a healthy bank account, be in a great relationship? My best year ever will help you understand why it isn't the outer achievements that actually fulfill you and give you the satisfaction you're seeking. You will need to commit to becoming the person you've always wanted to be. And all you've been missing until now is the know-how. Inspired by The Best Year of Your Life by New York Times bestselling author Debbie Ford, my Best Year Ever interactive online course will provide clearly outlined and easy to follow weekly proven practices with you, with exactly what you need to do to achieve your goals. And you'll learn how to become someone who stands in your power, counts blessings, takes risks, knows how and when to say no, and can learn from the mirror of your relationships. We're all told that the key to happiness is to love ourselves, yet we aren't given any specific instructions to become self-loving. And that's about to change. You'll begin every week with a lesson delivered to your inbox, along with a self-love assignment. And you'll quickly experience the synchronicity between the lesson you receive, the information it provides, and what you will experience that week. You'll discover opportunities to put your lessons into practice. Your confidence will become unshakable, and you become the source of your own inspiration. You'll find success, self-acceptance, fulfillment, and more love than you can ever imagine for yourself, others, and the world at large. There is nothing more delicious and rewarding than that. It's time to claim your extraordinary life. You deserve it. The 16-module Best Year Ever course provides a remarkable support structure for helping you reconnect with your deepest dreams, remember your commitment to excellence, and live in integrity with what is most important to you, while continuously being held in your highest vision. Prepare it. The first 4 modules create a strong foundation for ongoing success. The primary distinctions are responsibility, integrity, and boundaries. By exploring and strengthening these essential ingredients for an extraordinary life, you will begin to experience a positive ripple effect throughout every area of your life. This is the time for preparing fertile soil for an amazing new life. Dream it. The second portion of the program is designed to support you in seeing new possibilities for living your greatest life. During these 4 modules, you begin to see and experience that what you desire at the deepest level is available right here and now. You will turn your attention toward handling incompletions and clutter of all kinds, clarifying and expanding your vision for a specific area of your life, and exposing the fantasies that have until now kept you tied to the past. Plan it. The third segment of the program is an exciting time of creation and achievement. And now you begin to create the vision that has recently come into clear focus. Choosing goals and milestones that will make your larger vision a reality, you create a specific, measurable, action-based plan. This plan will be your roadmap to extraordinary success. To pave the way, you begin these 4 modules by shifting from resistance to acceptance, from looking for what's wrong to looking for what's right. Live it. As the last portion of this program begins, your vision and plan is in place, and you have already begun to live the best year ever. During these 4 modules, you will consciously create the good feelings and states of being of an extraordinary life, acknowledging and expressing gratitude, taking responsibility for recognizing and claiming the special moments, and learning to maintain a strong, vital life force. As the program comes to completion, you will commit to excellence, which requires you to have the courage to give up what you have known for something more, and sustain it. The Self-Love Journey membership provides the nurturing and sustaining energy to keep your sacred success going throughout the entire year. Each week you receive a self-love assignment and earn self-love credits to deposit into your self-love bank. Your success is celebrated with your self-love journey group quarterly throughout the year. And as part of your self-love journey membership, you receive 2 30-minute mentoring calls a month to support you in developing self-accountability in creating your best year ever. A few of the life-changing topics covered in this course are the power of choice, sing your praises, intercept self-sabotage, nurture the child within, walk in another's shoes, take your own advice, indulge, question your beliefs. What is the gift of your shadow? Forgive yourself, have fun, admit you're wrong, be generous. Become the person you want to be and create a plan of action. And I just want to share with you about Debbie Ford. The late Debbie Ford was an internationally recognized expert in the field of personal transformation and was the best-selling author of 9 books. Debbie's first 3 books, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers, which changed my life, Spiritual Divorce, and The Secret of the Shadow, are still known as groundbreaking, pioneering work in emotional and spiritual education. They take the reader on amazing journeys into the internal world, laying out the blueprint of the human psyche while being honest, straightforward, and practical. Her next 2 books, The Right Questions, Changed My Life Again, and The Best Year of Your Life, born out of her innovative and unique coaching training programs, guide people and give them an outer map to follow their and reach their goals, to overcome their limitations, and to make choices that empower and lead them forward in their lives. In her 6th book, Why Good People Do Bad Things, which her publisher called her tour de force, Debbie used her 15 years as a writer, reacher, coach, and speaker to expose the greatest human tragedy, the internal split that happens for each and every human as they develop and get socialized into a world of conflicts and polarities. Her 7th book, The 21-Day Consciousness Cleanse, provides a map for an incredible personal journey to transform consciousness and unlock purpose, meaning, and passion in our daily lives. Debbie's 8th book, which she co-wrote with Deepak Chopra and Marianne Williamson, The Shadow Effect, was published on May 4th, 2010. Debbie's most personal, powerful, and potent work was her 9th book, Courage, Overcoming Fear and Igniting Self-Confidence, where she wrote about how she found courage, confidence, and strength to become one of the world's foremost thought leaders, even in the face of her own life's challenges. She shared a proven process and guiding principles for overcoming insecurity and fear, and methods for unlocking enormous courage that resides deep within. And on the 5th anniversary of her passing, and written during her long battle with cancer, Debbie's final book was published posthumously. Your Holiness is a raw and poignant exploration of the godliness that dwells in all of us. Debbie's books are used by universities, teachers, lawyers, mediators, and therapists around the world to support others in a true healing of the heart. So how does this program work? Best Year Coaching, it used to only be available in a one-on-one coaching relationship with a certified integrative coach professional. And you would meet with your coach over the phone for an hour every week for 16 weeks at an average rate of $110 an hour. And you would be expected to pay at least $1,760 in advance. And it's worth every single penny. Now, you can receive this same one-on-one coaching model with me because I am one of the lucky, impeccably trained, and I'm certified as an integrative life coach through Debbie Ford's Institute for Transformational Training. And you'll receive a 30-day participate and get your money back guarantee. And because you are a member of the Way of Truth community, you will get a discount. You'll pay only $15.97 and save $177. Now you can do that. You can register right now at thewayofTruth.live/YT5, and we can start your one-on-one best year coaching in a few weeks when my schedule starts to lighten up a little bit. And I will tell you, I would love to personally guide you in this deep transformational process. But I know that even with that special membership discount, it still may not be realistic for some folks, especially if you are one of the many, many people who just don't believe that you can afford the time or the money. So with the support of some practice clients, I have developed an online coaching membership that hits that sweet spot in terms of affordability and time management. And this is how it works. If you were to register today, you would start to receive a new lesson every week for 52 weeks, for a total of 52 lessons. And each lesson is yours to keep, and you'll be able to refer back to it whenever you want. And if you miss a lesson or are too busy to get to it that day, each lesson will conveniently remain in your private membership portal. So you won't have to search for it when you're ready to get back to it. And it is called My Year of Self-Love Journey Membership. It includes the 52 weekly sessions, just-in-time email coaching, 2 30-minute mentoring calls per month with me or one of our coaches on staff, and 4 quarterly group coaching calls per year. All for just a $17 trial month and $47 recurring monthly payments. And you can cancel anytime for any reason and keep all of your lessons and resources, no questions asked. You just go to thewayofTruth.live/BYH. And when you enroll in this sweet spot membership by July 24th, that is a week from today, you'll receive the nearly $1,800 16-module My Best Year Ever coaching program for free. And not only does Best Year Ever include the same transformational coaching content that you would receive in a one-on-one coaching relationship, but the modules are recorded so you can access them at your own convenience. And as a bonus, you'll also receive the deeper wisdom and exercises from Debbie Ford's groundbreaking book, The Best Year of Your Life, delivered in audio chapters in between the coaching modules. So you can listen in the car or on the way to work, or when you're walking the dog, or even as you're falling asleep. And I'll say that as a professional voice actor, it was my pleasure to personally record these powerful resources for you. So let me just sum it up for you just one more time so you can really see the value of committing to your best year ever. When you enroll in My Year of Self-Love Journey by next Wednesday, July 24th, you receive 52 weekly lessons, 2 30-minute coaching calls per month, 4 group coaching calls per year, 16 modules of the Best Year Ever coaching program. That is a $1,760 value. Just in time email coaching in response to your modules. And the bonus, your best year ever, best year of your life audio chapters to keep you inspired. All for a $17 trial month and $47 a month recurring. Cancel any time for any reason. Keep all the lessons, modules, and audios you've received to that point. But you do have to enroll by next Wednesday, July 24th, to receive this amazing bundle. So write down the link, thewayofTruth.live/BYH right now, and go there immediately after this webinar. Prioritize it. It is important and urgent. Don't fall into the distraction zone. So go there immediately, claim your best, the year of your self-love journey, and your best year ever coaching program. You deserve it. Thank you so much. And speaking of distractions now, it is a great time to move to the next part of our webinar training where we'll look at eliminating distractions. So during your life, have you ever been distracted by something? It's a question that's almost laughable, right? All of us get distracted numerous times every single day. As a result of all these distractions, our time slips away. And some days we feel like we've got nothing accomplished of any real significance. So what's going on here? I'm going to show you an image. What do you see? You either see the chalice or the faces, depending on which image space you focus your attention on. When you focus on one image, the other image fades, and vice versa. And while the human mind is capable of seeing two different things, it can only see one at a time. And this happens because our brains are not capable of thinking in parallel. So what happens when we switch our focus back and forth between two things that are competing for our attention? If we focus on only one thing at a time, what does that do for us? There is a cost associated with having our attention go back and forth between two things. Every time you switch your attention back and forth, it takes extra intellectual effort to regain your previous state of concentration. We often fail to recognize that the time it takes to regain our concentration is part of the total time we have lost as a result of being distracted. This means that those little distractions and interruptions we put up with in our lives aren't really so little, as they have huge time management implications. So now let's spend a few minutes recognizing some of the common time distractors we face and their impact. By identifying these common time distractors, we can take steps to minimize them and thus reduce their impact. The motivation behind effective time management is to get more done in a shorter amount of time. And the third essential part of time management is to eliminate distractions, which can be very time-consuming. Distractions of all kinds will decrease your concentration and keep you from completing important tasks. Let's identify some distractions we may need to address in our lives. So now's a good time to pull out worksheet number 5, time distractors. And again, notice that that comes in 2 pages in length for worksheet number 5. And I'm going to set the timer for 2 minutes. And I'd like you to reflect on and identify all the major time distractors in your lives. So ready, set, go. And we've got about 30 seconds left for that section. All right. And so for the next 2 minutes, um, I want I want us to participate in a brainstorming session where just as many ideas as possible are generated around how to better manage a particular time distractor of your choosing. So Holly, what is a time distractor that you'd like to kind of brainstorm around? So do you have one? I can pick one too if you don't.
What I wrote down was pretty funny because I was looking at that, but I knew when I hit on the major thing, despite everything on the list, mine is it's being disorganized and being vague.
Being disorganized and being vague. Okay.
Yep.
So
What did you get?
I've got, honestly, I binge watch TV. It's, I don't actually have TV, but I have neighbors and I justify it by saying I need to take a break, right? I've been working hard for, I just need to go to the break room. So I kind of use their house as the break room and I watch TV with them. And it is a time distractor. There are other, and I think that's important. It is important to take breaks.
Yeah.
But it can be so easy to get sucked into the boob tube, right? So a way that I can maybe manage that, I could take a 15-minute walk with the dogs, which would get me outside. It would get me moving my body and let me kind of decompress my thoughts. What comes up for you as a way that you might manage your time distractor?
Well, my thing is, I just love it when I call myself out on something and I go, yeah, it's like being disorganized. Yeah, being disorganized is the greatest excuse for not doing anything. Well, I didn't know I should have done that, right? So we go through in doing all the worksheets that we've done
Right.
today. And when things get down on paper and the lists are done,
Right.
then I actually know where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing that I'm not doing. So, because it's really funny, because looking at all this stuff, I go, they're all important things, talking to people, the needs of family members, hanging out with friends, all of that stuff, because you can't work all the time. But the problem is if I'm really being vague and disorganized about what it is that I should be accomplishing, then what I'm trying to say is when if I do accomplish, if I'm spending my time better, then I'm not going to feel bad about watching television, or I'm like they're saying listening to music or going to movies. I go, these are all great things, but if I'm spending the majority of my day because I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing next.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's really helpful, like, because I'm going back to worksheet number 1 and I'm seeing the chart there and it's like, okay, well, so during this peak energy time, that's when I want to do those things in columns A, B, and C, or mix them up, right? Take breaks. Yeah. And then on the low times when I start to go down, that is the perfect time for watching a movie or chatting or, and we don't, it's going to be interesting for me, I'll tell you, because I'm about to start being around people more inside the coffee house. And I've invited people to stop by and see me and chat with me and plan with me. So they will be coming. I'm actually inviting them to me during those peak energy times because it does have a function. It does have a priority to chat with them. It is all kind of part of the goals and the vision. So, but yeah, I'm really loving this process of, just raising awareness, becoming like really intentional around effective time management.
Well, and I want to add one thing
Yeah.
too, which is not on the page of what they're doing, but when I put down caffeine, and the reason I put down caffeine, because I actually wrote my own column and said, what are the real problems? And one of them is caffeine, because if it can, I can be using it for false energy.
Right.
And when I do that, then I have trouble sleeping at night, and it can start this cycle of me being, then the next day my energy level won't be as high as it should be, because I'm fatigued because I didn't sleep. I didn't have really good sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really like, even though they're putting in examples of what time distractors are, maybe things that are really interfering with feeling the best that I can feel.
Yeah. And when you get more sleep, then you'll be less attracted to using the caffeine for the false energy. So let's do this. Let's take 2 minutes on the clock and just complete the last pieces of the worksheet. It's the number 2. It says, once you've identified your major time distractors, rank the top 5 that have the biggest impact on you and your time. And then on the second part of worksheet number 5, time distractors continued. Finally, think of a common time distractor and brainstorm some ways in which this time distractor could be better managed so it doesn't stray you away from your important life goals. We've already been talking about that a little bit, but let's just go ahead and take this time to write some things down on our worksheet so we have them to refer back to later. So I'll go ahead and set the clock. Ready, set, go. In about 15 seconds, let's wrap up. Great. Okay, so now circle, underline, or highlight 1 or 2 ideas that you're going to try to apply back in your life. For me, I like instead of watching TV on a break, walk the dogs for 15 minutes. Put on some music, have a dance break instead of binging on junk food. So these are going to be ways that I'll apply to try to manage these time distractors in a better way. And we can use this tool in the future to identify our distractors and brainstorm ideas for better managing them. We all have to deal with time distractors on a daily basis. So learning how to address them can dramatically increase our productivity and effectiveness, as well as reduce stress. Okay, you have used your time wisely during this program and learned a lot about organizing your time, prioritizing your tasks, and eliminating distractions. So to conclude, let's just take a few minutes to remember how limited and precious our time really is. I'm going to give you $86,400 to spend any way you wish. The only restrictions are you cannot bank any of the money. If you do not use any of the money, you lose it. So take a few moments to decide how you would spend the money. Who would be willing to share how they would spend the money? How do you think you might spend that money, Holly?
I'm going to go buy an RV and go hit the national parks.
Awesome. Very good. I'm going to use part of it to pay off my debts. And I'm going to invest. Well, I can't bank it, can I? I have to spend it. I'll spend it on my debts. And then I'll take a vacation too. I'll fly up and meet you, and we'll go together in the RV. How's that sound?
That's awesome.
Awesome. Okay. So because it's fun. It is fun to think about how you would spend $84,600. But how would you want to spend 86,400 seconds? This is the number of seconds we have in a day. When we think about how we spend our time, we should consider spending it on those things that are as important to us as our money, something we don't like to waste. And that's it for today. So I want to thank you, Holly, for being with me and creating this replay for people to benefit from. I have benefited. I think you've benefited. And I want to just remind anybody who's watching about the promo. So when you don't fall into the distraction zone, go to thewayoftruth.live/BYH. Sign up for my Year of Self-Love Journey by next Wednesday, next Wednesday, July 24th, and you will receive the Best Year Ever program for free as part of your membership. So be sure to go there, sign up right away, and thank you all so much. We do have on the 31st is the next new moon circle, and the theme is Fearlessly Me, I Let Myself Be Seen. So there are some great things coming up, so keep posted. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great night.
Thanks, Wendy.
Love you. Mwah. Thank you, Shelly. Thank you, Holly. I'll close out here. End meeting. There we go.